is the umpire, and you heard what he said, that Connors won the toss and elected to receive. Why, Tony?
Get settled in, Pat. They're all got to be a little nervous. Let Vilas serve. Well, he's nervous. Maybe Jimmy can get a break. If he doesn't, Connors will get loosened up before he has to serve. Connors will also serve during this set, at least, after they change, where he'll be able to towel off, take a sip of water or whatever, and come out with a dry racket handle.
Vilas said this morning that if he played like he did last year, he might as well not even play. But Connors blew him out in the semifinals.
Speaking of himself or of Connors?
Himself.
Well, he didn't play well, obviously. This surprises me a little bit as Vilas goes up 40-love, because you win the toss, let the other guy serve, but you want to rally a little bit. You want to run and get perspire and get loosened up and get rid of the jitters. Jimmy's made 3 very quick errors.
Wow, what a shot from Vilas.
And with Big Bertha in the first game, Vilas holds his serve. He has a 1-0 lead in the first set.
Hard to tell who the crowd's behind. A lot of supporters for both, I think.
Having a little fun with the ball boy, faking him out, handing him the ball. You know, Pat, he's one of the few guys I've ever seen that can do that kind of stuff and still maintain his concentration. Will pretty much give you an idea of what Connors hopes to do. Pound it and pound it. And that's what Vilas hopes Connors will do.
40-15. Pound it out. Fault. That's number 1. 40-30.
Expect to see a few double faults today, Pat. Not so much from choking or being nervous, but that wind blowing that toss around, it's pretty easy to miss-hit the ball.
So games go to 1-all. Both holes service.
Games are 1-all. First set.
And with this gusty wind, I don't think we'll see a high percentage of first serves go in the court unless the players decide to spin more of them and give up on trying to hit the first serve real hard.
This is the first time either player served from this end, which seems to be to play at the end that has the wind at the back. It's difficult to tell.
30 love.
Dr. Renee Richards looking on. Sort of a milestone here this year as far as she is concerned.
Runner-up in the women's doubles with Betty Ann Stewart. Lost in the final early today.
Right. Played here in 1960 as Richard Raskin lost to Neil Frazier.
Out. 20 love.
Thus far, Vilas not having a great deal of problem winning his own serve.
Joe Segura
40-15.
at courtside looking on along with Jimmy's mother, Gloria Connors.
See the shadow of the light standard coming across the court. Won't be much longer. We'll have some shadows as the sun gets low. Connors putting on the pressure with those heavy ground strokes. The big question is, can he maintain consistency when he's hitting it that hard?
He was able to against Orantes.
There's a miss hit.
Yes.
So from 40 love, Connors has fought back to deuce. Vilas has won 45 matches in a row on clay, looking for 46. Cross-court backhand by Vilas.
Advantage Vilas.
Senator Jacob Javits out of New York looking on.
He plays. He enjoys the game.
Not a bad player.
Advantage Vilas.
Games are 1-all first set.
Second service.
That might be a bit of superstition right there. He didn't want the same ball that he hit the let with to serve again, so he knocked it to a ball boy and got a different one. So Vilas, after a bit of a struggle, has held his serve. This is the men's final of the U.S. Open Championship.
Is a better word. He knows where he is in the finals of the U.S. Open Tennis Championship. Connors serving to Vilas. Vilas leads 2-1. First set in this best 3 out of 5.
And Vilas has never been in the finals here before.
He lost to Connors last year in the semifinals, convincingly.
There is Ion Tiriac, the
Love
coach of
15.
Vilas. He would make a tremendous third base coach. He can flash more signals without the enemy knowing what he's doing.
You might be afraid to go there, though. Vilas does a little imaginary rope. Right down the center line, number 1 ace for Connors.
15.
Big serve by Connors.
There for Mr. Connors.
It is now 2-all.
First set.
Return of serve by Connors was an absolute mishit, but it went over, and now the top spin lob. Bingo. Love 15. 2-all first set.
Time when a mishit worked to his advantage. Brought Vilas in.
And by the time Vilas could get to the ball, it was low enough. He couldn't really hit it too hard. Another stroke of luck for Jimmy Connors.
Love 40.
Triple break point for Connors. The first point, he mishit a return. It went short. Ended up winning the point. And then a let cord.
Games are 2-all first set. Hit the top of the net just barely and skipped in.
15-40.
The previous shot hit just inside the baseline. Connors took it just after it hit the ground and nailed it. And Vilas hit the winner. Still double break point for Connors. You know, one thing Connors likes to do, Pat, is take that ball on the rise, take it early, and the topspin of Vilas comes up, so it gives Connors a better shot into the court of Vilas. That was an ideal shot for him, though he missed it. Still break point.
Double fault. That's the first one by Vilas, and what a time. We've crowned all the champions but this one. Crowd thought it was good. That's out.
And that was a bad miss by Connors. He missed it by 18 inches or 2 feet. Had his choice where he wanted to hit it, what type of shot, and he just blew it, so it's love 30. Take a look again. Vilas comes in from a very deep position. Connors misses the second attempt at a passing shot, and it is triple break point at love 40 as we come back to live action. First serve a fault. Vilas trying to get even at 3-all. Connors has a break. Miss hit forehand by Vilas. Still double break point.
They say the best time to break is after you've been broken.
And Vilas just got a hand signal from Tiriac, sort of flipping the hand over, back and forth. I think he's saying move him around from side to side.
There's Tiriac.
He'll go through a couple of packs of cigarettes if this match lasts very long. It's still break point. This ball stayed very low, and Vilas was lucky to get it before it bounced twice. Connors ripped it up the line for a winner, and from Lum 40, he's gotten to deuce. That is the number 4 seed.
Vilas. That's the number 2 seed. Connors. Borg was number 1, of course, and he had to withdraw because of that bad shoulder. Number 3 seed, by the way, was Brian Gottfried, who lost to Barazzuti. And that's who Connors beat in the semifinals, Barazzuti. Deuce again. And look who's watching.
Chris Everett in the marquee.
She is, of course, the women's champion for the 3rd straight year.
miss hit by Vilas.
Out. Advantage, Connors.
Now Connors has the advantage.
Do you think that's the wind?
A combination of wind, although Connors hit that ball so hard that the wind couldn't have moved it much, but Vilas obviously didn't keep his eye on the ball very well. It's tough to hit what you don't see.
A tough game.
Lefty against lefty. Vilas shot just over the baseline, so again it's advantage Connors. Connors serving at 3-2 in the first set. This is the best of 5 sets for all the marbles.
It was love 40. But Connors comes back to hold service. And he leads in the first set, 4-2.
Connors leads.
Actually saved 4 break points.
First set.
Very serious young man, 24-year-old Guillermo Vilas. Vilas again took a look over at Ian Tiriac.
Tiriac gives him that thing like, take it easy. Just calm down a little bit. Don't rush so much. That's Count Dracula. It's a good thing he's not as mean as he looks, Pat.
That's right.
Out. 15 all.
Not an empty seat anywhere. Not an empty place to stand anywhere.
Well-disguised forehand. Now watch Vilas. Comes up here. You can't tell which way he's going with it. Connors was looking for it to go cross court. Instead, he went up the line. It is 30-15. Vilas serving to Connors. Just a marvelous shot by Jimmy Connors. You'll see now Vilas realizes he's hit a good shot, so he expects a weak return from Connors and starts forward. Instead, Jimmy sliced one down the line low, and he handcuffed Vilas. Now we're back live at 30 all. And Pat, you can just feel the tension in the crowd.
I can feel it from you. Sweaty palms and all.
Isn't that the truth? Vilas.
30.
And a very big break point, Pat.
Vilas talking to himself a little bit.
If Connors can win this point, he will have 2 service breaks in this first set.
Super attacking shot by Jimmy Connors pays off. He now has 2 service breaks in the first set, and he leads Vilas in the finals 5 games to
2 in the first set of this finals.
And Vilas took a little extra walk, went back by Turiak, and Turiak said something to him.
Neither player has lost a set in this entire tournament. That's all got to change, of course. But right now, it looks like Vilas will be the first one. He, of course, has won 45 straight matches on clay.
Pat Vilas has won 10 of the 20 tournaments he's played in this year, including his last 6. Connors only won 4 out of 14, though he's lost 6 times in the finals. Pretty darn good records.
They deserve to be where they are. No question about that.
Here's that last point again. Vilas coming in from a pretty deep position. Connors' ball ticked the top of the net and threw Vilas off. It's 30-15. Called fault.
First service.
Well, the linesman has changed his call, so they'll play 2. Was long, and it's 40-15 double set point for Jimmy Connors. That's the first set.
First set for Mr. Connors, 6 games to 2.
Connors win the first set, 6 games to 2.
Be interesting to see if Vilas tries to do anything differently. He didn't play badly, but as was the case when Arantes played Connors, Jimmy hit the ball so hard and so consistently well, they didn't let his opponent do much.
Guess is right,
He anticipates for the smash to come to his forehand side. Now he's gotten a short ball, and he just rips it up the line. Vilas just got his racket on it. And it's love 15. Vilas about to serve. Pat, so far, I'm surprised that Vilas hasn't looped more balls. You know, get more elevation. They bounce up higher on Connors.
He likes to take the ball on the rise. Double fault by Vilas.
It's love 30. It's a tougher ball to take on the rise because it leaps forward but up a little bit more.
Second double fault by Vilas.
Spectacular. Vilas peaked just before that to see if Connors was coming in. He was not, so he turned and made a ground stroke.
15-30.
And now Connors hits it wide. Big point. It's now 15-30. This is the first game of the second set. Connors won the first set 6-2. Best of 5 sets for this championship.
Guillermo, as some people said.
If they're Americans, they should have been with us down in Buenos Aires when we played Davis Cup. We didn't hear too many of those calls from Argentinians. Americans are good sports people, and they pull for the underdog. The Americans ought to get all the support they can.
I'm not sure who's the underdog in this one. Connors was seeded 2 and Vilas 4.
I know who's got the American passport.
Yeah.
From love 30, Vilas is pulled up, and it's now 40-30. First Hunter's serving.
Connors thought the ball might have been out. And perhaps it hit the outside of the line and took a funny bounce.
He mishit it. The breeze is not as bad right now. It's not nearly as gusty. That's long.
so far, Connors has had the luck. Now, Vilas hit a real good low ball. There's a let. Now Connors can do anything. He could stick in his navel if he wanted to, but he just blocks it down the line. Connors has broken a string. Vilas is tying a shoelace. You know, it's funny, Pat, as tennis matches go, if the player thinks that the guy's stalling, it bothers him. When he breaks a string, they go up, it takes a few seconds, a minute, whatever, and that doesn't bother you at all. You know, it's no ploy. You know, it might also happen to you. 15-30.
The forehand winner that Vilas had no chance at all.
You think the racket Connors picked up felt okay to him?
Sounded like it did.
Looked like it. He just hit an outright winner. 30-all.
Connors won the first set, 6-2. Vilas is up 1-love, second set. Connors serving. That's that looping ball you want him to hit.
I just mentioned that as a possible tactic because he was trying to out-hit Connors in the first set, and it obviously didn't work. He lost at 6-2, and he plays best when he's steady and consistent and patient. Like he might have sort of flipped over a little bit on his ankle. He's not hurt. It's the kind of thing when you slide on some loose top dressing on the court and then all of a sudden your foot sticks and you flip over a little bit.
So it's 1-all. Second set. Connors won the first.
This is called Hartrue. It's a composition surface. Top dressing, the lines are taped, so the ball bounces totally differently when it hits on the line. Connors is getting the short ball from Vilas, and he holds it. Vilas looked for the ball cross court. He went back up the line. Love 15. Vilas a little upset with himself because he rushed that. I think he's a little frustrated right now.
Yeah, I think so. You don't see him show emotion like that very often. He's usually very stoic.
He's being dominated right now, Pat, and he has not had that feeling throughout this championship.
Well, he hadn't lost a set until now. Love 30.
Now triple break point for Connors. Connors won the first set 6-2. It is 1-all in the second set. shot was wide.
15-40.
Still double break point for Jimmy Connors.
Approach shot. Watch how deep this one is. About a foot inside the baseline. Connors still did a good job, and Vilas got out and really pumped that forehand volley. Good tennis.
30-40.
And still a break point. See the players like Connors hitting the bottom of his shoe. He wants to get those granules out, the tread in the shoe, so he has good traction.
On this passing shot, he's ready early. He doesn't rush it. Hit it perfectly.
So Vilas gets even.
Everybody's in this match.
Watch when Vilas comes in. He closes fast. He'll get in real close to the net and punches off that volley. He now has the advantage.
Again, a big yell for Vilas. And now yell for Jimmy. And now quiet, please. Vilas waits.
That doesn't help either player, you know, with the individual noise of some character hollering out the last minute.
Got the short ball and missed it. So Vilas is now ahead in the second set. 2-1. The Night of Champions, which is next Tuesday. And then I would think he'd be involved in football the following week. But I'm not sure.
Vilas mishit the forehand over the baseline. It's 15-love. Connors serving at 1-2.
$15 all. A rather unusual return of service by Vilas.
Let's watch. I don't realize how hard this is to do on this kind of a surface. Just inside the baseline, you run a guy out of position and then nail the forehand the other way for an outright winner. It's 30-15.
you say that Vilas runs well?
Indeed, and look at the shot that Connors hit from deep in the court. Vilas way outside. Now Connors runs it up the other way. Guillermo got to it, but Connors let it go and it went out. And it's 40-15. Connors trying to get even at 2-all in the second set. He won the first. That's wide.
40-30.
One thing about the way Connors is playing, you don't get much of rhythm. You know, he hits the ball so hard, either he has you on the defensive, he hits a winner, or occasionally misses, but you just don't get that good rhythm that you'd like to get, rally a little bit, and get to do some things.
The amazing things to me has always been, these are not big men. Connors about 5'11", 157. Vilas 5'11", 165. But yet they hit that ball so hard.
Timing, rhythm, coordination.
Advantage, Connors.
I guess you could add skill and talent.
Skill, talent, timing, rhythm, coordination, you said?
There are few. And about, 20 years of practice and hard work.
I guess you can put youth in there also.
Yeah. But that's what kids have to understand. There is no shortcut. It may sound trite, but if you're going to be good, you've got to work at it. You've got to pay the price.
In anything.
Miss hit. When Connors realized that Vilas had mishit that ball, he moved up to take it on the rise because he didn't want it jumping up too high over his head. Too tough to handle. It's deuce.
Correction. First service.
No problem. That didn't hurt either player. The linesman called it out. Called a little too soon and changed it. Vilas got it back comfortably, so we just started over. It's deuce. Vilas not ready to return the second serve.
He wants somebody to move back behind him, I think.
The ball boy stepped out across the linesman's chair to pick up a ball and step back, and Vilas was trying to get him to stand still. Snap of the wrist, and Connors was there. It brought the whole house to their feet.
And And they're just starting to settle down. What a point that was.
Oh, man, something else. Connors now has the advantage. You don't think Connors was on the ball? You watch the good players, Pat. They never turn around until they see that thing bounce twice.
Net left. First service.
A lot of people make one good shot and think, well, that's all. You know, it's all over.
It was a struggle.
But it's 2-all in the second set after Connors won the first one. The first set, that is, 6 games to 2.
In case you joined us late in the first set, Connors got a service break to lead 3-2. He got another break to go ahead 5-2, and he ran out the set 6 games to 2. There have not been any service breaks in this second set.
And Vilas is serving now. Waiting for the crowd to settle. Oh, this is going to be a debate here if he calls it. Now he calls it out.
You know, as a professional, it's a mistake, in this case on Vilas's part, not to swing at that ball. If it was that close, if the linesman wasn't sure, you should swing at it and then worry about the call afterwards. It's 15-love. That's well out.
Love.
Wide. And it's 40-love for Vilas.
Tony, you were saying yesterday when you were playing it, you asked him when it got to be this time of the afternoon to remove one of the flags from the top of the stadium, and then one of the shadows is right on the court now. See it?
Blow it in the right-hand service court on Connors' side. That would bother me. And
ace from Vilas. That's number 2. And so Vilas holds service and leads 3 games to 2 in the second set.
And I think that's a mistake on the part of Vilas. I think he should be trying to loop that ball more, get a little more topspin. That's what he does best. Try to get the ball up higher against Connors. Occasionally, if Jimmy gets deep in the court, he'll sort of roll a forehand, get up a little higher. Otherwise, he just goes for broke. Does not hit a deep approach shot, and that is what you get in first-class tennis.
30-love.
Set and a half, we have not seen either player attempt a drop shot. That's out again, so Connors wins his serve very handily.
Games are 3-all. Second set.
Maybe talk about Connors. He has a reputation of not being a powerful server. But that's a little bit misleading. He's a very good server.
He gets a high percentage of first serves in, Pat, because he doesn't try to hit them all hard. But boy, you just can't say enough about Vilas, the tournament he's had, the record he's had. He is the French champion.
And he's been serving like that throughout most of this tournament. He has now won 45 straight matches on play. And of course, that's what they're playing on now. And that's just spectacular. Topspin jumped at Connors.
Sure did. You know, really just exciting to me, Pat. Thrilled to think here are two guys out here going hammer and tong, trying to win the U.S. Open, the biggest event we have in this country in tennis. That's the first time Connors has done that. Taken Vilas' second serve, hit it hard, and come on in behind it. It's a good time to do it, too. Vilas had 40 love. You don't have much to lose. Change the tempo a little bit.
Vilas taking plenty of time. Foot fault is called. And a moan goes up from the crowd. Adrian Clark, very astute linesman, is the guy who made the call.
Vilas puts the toe right up next to that line.
Vilas holds service. Jimmy Connors court now, and Connors in.
The wind is picking up again.
There's the corner in the darkness of shadows over on the left of Connors.
Backhand by Vilas stayed low, so Connors couldn't hit his approach real hard, though he did hit it deep, and Vilas just nailed the topspin backhand cross court. It's 15 love.
good court coverage by Vilas. Stretched completely out, got there, and I waits and goes the other way. Gets to it, but hit a very short lob, and Connors knocks it away. It is 30-15. Vilas serving 5-3 in the second set.
Again, the cross-court backhand.
And it's double set point for Vilas. Trying to level this match at one set apiece.
40-15.
Guillermo Vilas wins the second set 6-3. Connors won the first 6-2, so we're even at 1-all. And tribute to both Connors and Vilas. Sets are 1-all.
You know, Pat, throughout this championship, we really haven't had a lot of close matches. And certainly not later in the tournament where quarterfinal, semifinal matches were won fairly handily. So the people are loving this one.
No, we certainly haven't had a 5-set match.
Love 15.
You got to hand it to Vilas. He was being pushed around and dominated. Appeared to be a little flustered late in the first set, but he hung in there. Finally got his service break and won the second set.
You see that happen so much.
Yeah, you make that long run and then you sort of peek to see where you want to hit the ball instead of making up your mind in advance and just watching the ball. Vilas has served 2 aces, 2 double faults. Connors 1 ace, 1 double fault. You don't expect to see many aces. Thought we might have a few more double faults because of the gusting wind.
The first game of the third set. Vilas won the second set 6-3. Connors won the first 6-2. This is, I was looking at the t-shirt. Vilas serving at love 1 in the third set, waiting for the crowd to settle down. Shadows again stretching across the court. The lights are already on. Pretty obvious by now that this is going to still be being played after dark.
Vilas broke a string. Now, in this case, he does not get 2 serves. He only gets his second serve when he comes back. In other situations, when there's a delay, you hear him checking the tension.
Sounded like he'd like the one with a tighter string.
Right.
Second service.
He has an ample supply of rackets over there. It looks like 8 or 10 to me. So I don't think he'll run out.
No.
That's that.
15 love.
Seems to me, Tony, he's given Connors more spin serves than the smoke that he had so much success with earlier.
Well, it's tough to get that smoke in all the time, Pat. And some people have had success against Connors when they've made him make the pace. Connors hit a ball either on or very close to the baseline in that rally. The crowd reacted, those that were hoping it was out. Vilas took a little peek, but made no reaction whatsoever, so you got to assume that it was good.
Looked like it hit the inside of the line because it bounced almost straight up. There was the hard serve.
15-30.
15-30. Again. Ace number 3 from Vilas.
I have a friend in Detroit named Ben Bidwell. He calls his first serve Big Smoke. Now he knows what Big Smoke is. His is Little Puff. That was some giant of a shot there.
I played golf with him. He says he calls you Big Smoke. There's some more Big Smoke.
That's Little Smoke right there. Enjoying a foot long.
30.
Boy, that looks good.
It sure does. Been a long time between meals, hasn't it? 40-30. Vilas trying to get even at 1-all in the third set. Sets are 1 apiece.
Yes.
I could promise you that those shadows are a problem for both players right now because that ball looks like it comes at you in dots and dashes as it comes through the shadow and then the sunlight. They'll be much happier when the entire court is covered with shade.
Score is deuce.
And it's break point for Connors.
Advantage, Connors.
That gives you a good idea of the shadow and the sunlight.
That serve comes from Vilas. It comes from the sunlight into the shadows, but when it comes back, it's just as difficult to see. Out of the shadows into the sunlight. It's deuce.
Deuce.
Again, break point for Connors.
Advantage, Connors.
Pat, sometimes that net ball works in your favor and sometimes it works against you. That time it hurt Vilas because his ball came up short and higher. Gave Connors a good swing at a ball from near the service line.
the short ball. Now Connors measures it, rips it, then comes forward. He got the floater,
2 games to love.
and he knocked off the volley. So Connors leads 2 games to love in the third set.
Vilas hit that ball with that chop swing, the underspin backhand, and it hung up there nicely for Connors.
Underspin basically wants to climb, wants to come up.
Again, Connors putting on the pressure.
15, love.
Vilas was in the same situation. That time he tried to hit a topspin return, but missed it. That's out.
15, all. Hey, 15. Out. 20, 15. Ball.
You get the impression that Vilas is doing a lot more running than Connors?
Yes. Of course, you normally have to do that against a guy that hits the ball as hard as Connors does because he's the aggressor most of the time. Vilas would be more aggressive, you know, and he is when he gets a shorter ball. I'll tell you this, Vilas is prepared to go 5 sets of running if he has to. And so is Connors. Aggressive play by Jimmy Connors takes him out to a 3-love lead.
And almost certainly the last championship of the U.S. Open to be played here in this Horseshoe Stadium Hills. And this is for the men's championship. Vilas trying to show Connors that he's going to be serving with new balls. And now what's the problem?
Yes.
Vilas, I guess, wasn't sure if they were new balls. He went over to ask, are these new balls? I would think he'd be able to tell. Wouldn't you?
Well, you can either look at them or, you know, add 9 and 11.
That's too tough.
Long.
15, love.
Connors leads 3 games to love in the third set. Sets are 1-all. It's the best 3 out of 5 final.
If you're on Connors' side, you say, well, that looks like a big lead. If you're on Vilas' side, you say, that's only 1 service break. Hold serve, get a break, hold back, and I'm even.
You know, I have to laugh, Pat, because I keep watching Tyriak. In previous matches, he has given Vilas a lot more instruction, but when you're playing Connors, who's sort of beating your brains out and hitting it real hard, you know, Vilas will look and Tyriak takes a puff on his cigarette. What are you going to do? What do you say? Hang in there.
Keep trying.
That's right. You know Vilas is going to do that.
Left. Second service.
That's out.
40-15.
Well, Vilas is 1 point away from getting on the board in this third set. Frank Hammond responds to the reaction of the crowd. He puts his fingers about 3 inches apart and says, that was way out.
Connors really moved in on that second serve. He's right back of the service line. Took it on the rise. Here he comes.
Vilas has held his serve.
Game, Mr. Vilas. 3 games.
And that's the story.
Mr. Connors leads third set.
Don't forget, this is a best of 5 sets. Early in this tournament, it was 2 out of 3. At the quarters, they started playing 3 out of 5. We've got a ways to go yet. And we'll be with you right to the end.
Out. 15, Love.
Connors looking at Vilas doing his little dance. Like
There was a lady, Pat, lady walking around behind, up above, and she sat down very quickly when she felt his stare. Good play by Vilas.
All.
Pulled Connors out of position. Was able to block that volley into the open court. No pressure.
he's down a service break.
That's a winner.
Oh, that's a winner. And a beauty it was.
Watch Vilas come in. He likes to close in real quickly. He keeps running forward, and you see he spun his wheels a little bit, trying to stop and get back. Of course, you have to have a little bit of talent to be able to hit that lob like that. 30-15. That's out.
Out. Connors had the whole court. He hit a great first serve.
Yeah, he sort of went under that ball, and it floated over the baseline. You see Vilas, he's not showboating at all. He's trying to get himself pumped up, keep those legs loose, get it going.
Looks like he's been doing some road work.
Easy to do, and you'll watch
Connors hit the top spin lob, and it comes down more quickly. You combine that extra spin with a little wind, and she just came down a little too fast, or faster than Vilas had anticipated. And it's 40-30. Connors trying to stretch his lead to 4-1 in the third set. The breeze is picked up again. Connors keeps looking at Vilas. So I'll wait till he quits bouncing up and down, then I'll serve. Champion Jimmy Connors now has a service break and a 4-1.
Connors, I notice, just got from the trainer some kind of something to help him breathe a little bit. He's had trouble throughout this tournament. I don't know if it's an allergy or a cold.
Sort of like an inhaler.
Yeah, I'm inclined to think it's an allergy because I've seen a lot of people and talked to a lot of people who've had it. And Connors is pointing underneath the canvas back of Vilas, saying some people were lying down back there peeking underneath, photographers or whatever.
Amateur photographers. The ones with badges are out on the side of the court.
And there are a lot of those.
The court is now in complete shadow, and that has to make it easier for both players.
And the lights are on and have been for quite some time. The sun will be completely down behind the stadium in a few minutes. And it's going to start to get cold. It's already cold.
Colder.
Colder.
Second service.
You know, Pat, we ought to salute the ball boys and ball girls and the lines people, but these kids are out here every day, day and night, do an absolutely super job. I hope it's been a good experience for them, and I hope that the players have been good to them. From what we've seen here, they have, but they have done a marvelous job. They're unsung heroes as far as I'm concerned. You can see the way Connors' hair is being blown around. That gives you an idea of the gusty breeze that's at court level. Watch this one because Connors almost missed this overhead. Vilas way out of court. Now, when he makes this lob, you'll see that Connors hits this overhead very short in the court. He really mistimed it. Help of the wind, but he fortunately got it over the net. It is 15-30.
30 all.
Break point for Connors. He already has one service break in this set. went in.
We pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves. Guillermo Vilas serving in the far court. That's fault. Connors leads 4-1 in the third set. Sets are 1-all. Score is deuce in this game.
If we can get a close-up of Vilas as he gets up ready to serve, we'll take a look at his left arm, his forearm, and you'll see what exercise does for your body. Now look at the size of his left forearm. Willy poses now getting ready to start, and then take a look at the forearm on his right arm. Little difference?
Service. He is still, however, down a service break.
And he went over to get a towel, and Turiak had a quick comment to make to him.
He looks at him throughout the match. There's Turiak back there. I keep expecting to see him walking out of the fog somewhere.
He's gotten another pair of shoes out of a bag, so perhaps he's going to have Vilas change shoes at the end of this game at the court change. Reminded me sort of a prize fight when guys were coasting a little bit. It looked like they were both hitting a little more casually, almost resting, and Connors really didn't take an extra good swing at that ball. But it was good enough for a winner.
30 love.
That's long.
30-15.
Shot by Vilas. Didn't have much on it. It gave Connors a chance to get ready, pick his spot, and he hit a forehand up the line with too much pace for Vilas. And it's 40-15. Connors can hold serve. He'll lead 5-2 in this third set. Sets are one piece.
Adrian Clark talking with Connors. Connors drew a circle, but I think what Adrian said was, you hit it.
Connors scrapes the mark out. We've seen him do that before on both sides of the court.
Yeah. He did that against Barasuti on Barasuti's side. Did you see Corrado's comment? What he said about Connors doing that?
What was that?
He said if he can do that, is there anything he can't do? If they let him get away with that.
Here's part of that point again. You'll see Vilas, when he starts to attack, his approach shot hits the top of the net. Right there, it takes some speed off and lets the ball bounce up. But Connors missed the two-hander going cross court, and it's deuce. Jimmy taking a little bit extra time now. He let a lead get away in this game. He doesn't want to lose the serve and lose the break back.
Comes Connors.
All right, now you see Connors' approach off a short ball, hits inside the service line. His approach was not deep.
Advantage, Vilas.
And it made Vilas' job easier, and it's now break point for Vilas. He is down a service break in this third set.
There's the break.
The roar of the crowd. It's really what you hope to have happen, Pat, in the finals of a major championship. A good, close match, and well played by the contestants. And that's what we're watching now.
Guillermo Vilas on the left and Jimmy Connors on the right. Vilas serving to try to get even. He's down 3-4 in the third sets. The sets are even. 1-1. Connors won the first, Vilas the second. So that's where we are.
And as far as he's concerned, he is even right now because he got the service break back, and he's serving at 3-4. Now we got some people walking down by the photographers. Right down below us, walking in front of the photographers.
We got more photographers than they used to have at the championship. On both sides of the court. Somebody says, come on, let's go. And he'll be hooted down, I hope.
Love 15.
You know, I don't care who you are, Pat. If somebody hits that ball near that baseline with any kind of pace on you, you got an awful tough time to make a passing shot.
Something blew out on the court. Connors said, wait a minute. Then Vilas did. Amazing how that ball that Vilas mishits dives back down into the court.
Well, it has extra topspin. You know, we kid around. I play hit and giggle out in L.A., and a guy mishits one. I said, well, you paid for the wood, too. You might as well use it, you know.
Hit and giggle. There's Tiriac behind. Whoops. That one won't come down.
He used that wood again.
Yeah.
15-30.
Connors was not trying to hit that. There's Pancho Segura. Now, when Connors comes in, he was not trying to hit a drop volley. Vilas really ramrodded one at him. Connors takes a pretty good swing at it, but mishit it. And it dropped short, and Vilas, now look at Vilas. He's saying, you lucky character. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Double break point for Connors.
Vilas got the good serve in, and Connors hit it out. A minute ago, you saw Pancho Segura clapping encouragement to Connors. Everybody has a guru these days.
Still break point.
That's the serve that Vilas wanted. And this one's tough.
Connors might try to jump on it and come in. Let's see. So Vilas has saved 2 break points.
Use.
You know, when you think how long these 2 players will be out here, one of them's going to be disappointed when it's over. And how close it is, how one shot at the right time can turn it around. It was long. The volley was over the baseline.
Advantage, Connors.
This tennis and these 2 guys are so good, I think, Tony, we'll all be disappointed when it's over.
And the way they're playing, it's going to be one of those deals where you hate to see someone have to be a loser. Break point again for Jimmy Connors. Another good serve by Vilas. What a lovely weapon to have at your disposal.
Yes.
Pulled him way wide. Sets are 1-1. Vilas serving at 3-4.
And now Vilas has the advantage.
Advantage, Vilas.
He keeps rubbing that ball on that grip. It's not Gaylord Perry's not loading it up. He's just
Well, it's not illegal either.
get the grip dry.
Tried to go down the center line and almost did.
Miss hit by Vilas.
Yes.
Connors hit a good deep return.
Both these guys have got that lead tape across the top of the racket. Put a little bit more weight in the head of the racket. Vilas seems to be taking a little bit more time on his serve, and it's paying off.
He's gotten some big ones in this game. He has served 4 aces and 2 double faults. Connors 1 ace and 1 double fault thus far. actually slowing the ball down 2 or 3 times. He took some pace off. He finally gets a short ball, and the kind of shot he misses more often than any other, the short approach shot, he catches the tape. The crowd erupts, and it's 4-all in the third set, and we've got a 5-set match. This is not a 3-set match, so we've got plenty of tennis left for you.
They've been playing about 2 hours and 15 minutes now. Looked like it might, and then it fell back on the other side.
I think it's safe to say that near us on the left is someone that's pulling for Vilas, and he speaks his language. Going to have to give him a tranquilizer.
Or get him a microphone.
That's another way to keep him down. Take a look at that again. Good stretch.
Good stretch and good crisp volley here by Connors. And Vilas put the brakes on early because he knew there was no way he was going to get back and get that one. It's 15-all. 4-all third set. Sets are 1 apiece.
30-15.
You know, how does he make that and then miss that easy approach shot? He's a human being, but it's really interesting. Amazing how that stadium quiets down.
That's going to be out.
Connors held his serve comfortably. He has a 5-4 lead.
Connors and Vilas, a set apiece. Connors ahead 5-4 in the third set. Guillermo Vilas will serve.
You know, Pat, you look at those scores in a 6-2 set, a 6-3 set, doesn't really look like it's that close. The first set really wasn't that close. Connors dominated, and he seemed to be dominating early in the second set. Vilas hung in there and finally got a service break and won the set. This set has been very close. We've had 2 service breaks. Connors broke for a 2-love lead. Vilas came back and broke at 3-4. And now he's serving, trying to get even at 5-all. If we get to 6-all in any set, we'll play a 12-point tiebreaker. First to reach 7 with at least a 2-point advantage is the winner. Two great tennis players play a super point. Bingo.
Love 15.
Out.
Out. 15-all.
The smash right up the middle. Vilas rolls it back, and Connors hits a drop volley from behind the service line. Vilas gets there, and Connors closes back in and knocks off a winner. Another super point. 15-30. 4-5, third set. Each player has won a set. Jimmy Connors.
15-40.
Both players just hitting the ball as hard as they could.
But Connors getting better length on his shots than Vilas. Almost every one of Vilas' shots landing around the service line. It cost him.
He pulled another ace out. And that's number 5. Still set point.
Not a bad time to reach back and throw that high hard one, huh? Down set point. See if he can do it again. It's still set point.
That's long.
Court. That is a disgruntled Pancho Segura. You just saw the left-hand part of your picture.
Yes.
Vilas has saved. There is Tiriac in the middle, wearing black, which is appropriate. Vilas has saved 2 set points, and it is deuce. Man, you could cut this tension with a knife.
Oh, let's don't try. Don't forget it was double set point. And Vilas has come back. There it is. 5-5 in the third set.
Mr. Vilas, games are 5-all.
It's becoming more and more apparent that we're going to have to stay on after our scheduled time of 7 o'clock, which we will do. Nobody will miss anything, however, because the whole network programming will slide. You understand that?
I think so. Uh-oh, that's the first drop shot.
First time.
We've been out here 2.5 hours, and that's the first drop shot we've seen attempted, and it was at a poor time for Connors. He's now down love 30. This is letdown time, Pat. You've got to really be careful.
And all of a sudden, the commander changed hats. It is now Vilas.
40.
Isn't it incredible?
It
Connors
really
had
is.
2 set points, and now he's down triple break point.
So Vilas goes up by 1 in the third set. Vilas leads 6 games to 5 in the third set. Connors won the first, Vilas won the second. But no matter who wins, we'll have more because it's a best 3 out of 5.
Connors has to be wondering where he's playing this match because it seems that more people are pulling for Vilas than Connors. Maybe they just want to see a long match or a close match. They're getting that for sure.
They're going to get both, I think.
Remember, if we get to 6-all, 12-point tiebreaker will decide the set. A foot fault call, but he missed the serve anyway. And that is the third double fault for Vilas.
And the second football that's been called against him.
Man, you might as well stand back 3 or 4 inches. Why take a chance putting that foot that close to the baseline?
Oh, he's got his toe right up there.
Good shot by Connors.
Love 30.
Love 30. Look how close that foot is. If he turns that toe, he can touch. And it's now triple break point for Connors.
Love 40.
This would put us into the tiebreaker. I wonder if Connors will try to take the second serve, hit it, and come in behind it. He's done that a few times with success. He's got it!
The winner. Look at Segura. And his mother, Gloria Connors, yelling encouragement. We'll go into the tiebreaker in the third set. A 12-point tiebreaker it is.
Game for Mr. Connors.
First
6-all.
player to 7.
We will now play the 12-point tiebreaker.
Well, listen. Connors will serve first.
He serves 1 point, and then Vilas will serve 2, and then Connors 2. That's done so that if each player held all their points on their serve, one server wouldn't have 2 points in a row to win the set.
Boy, doesn't it give you a great feeling just to be able to sit and watch an event like this
I should say.
and to be a part of the coverage? Not just you and me. I mean everybody that's associated.
Oh, I should say cameramen, technicians, all the guys in the truck.
I guess with all that equipment that's out there, we should say trucks.
Vilas.
Blimps and what have you.
They want to let it play. Connors couldn't get that two-handed volley away from Vilas. He tried the topspin overhead that almost got over his head. Jimmy stretched out completely and hit it short. Now, Vilas came up and just ripped the backhand, and Connors blocked the volley into the open court. We didn't see that part of it. Connors now serving at 1-2. After 6 points are played, the players will change ends.
Vilas in the tiebreaker.
And Vilas slipped back behind the court to grab a towel off his racket. He gave you that Ali shuffle.
Short return by Vilas. Connors pulled it off sharply for a winner.
3-2 Vilas.
Sets are 1-1. We're in a tiebreaker in the third set. Sun is down behind the stands now, behind the stadium. Lights are on.
Shot cross court, and he nailed it.
It's 3-3 now. They'll change ends without stopping.
Supposedly. They both grabbed a towel. They grab a drink. They're not supposed to do that, but both are doing it. I don't think the umpire, John Coleman, will say a thing.
So it's 3-3 in this tiebreaker. Vilas and Connors in the finals and the finals in this stadium.
If Mom's got dinner waiting for anyone here, you better put on the back burner. We're going to be here a while. No one is leaving.
Vilas attacked and won.
Almost a surprise because Vilas does not come to the net that often. He made a good approach. He blanketed the net and blocked that forehand volley in the open court.
4-3 Vilas. Vilas.
5-3 Vilas.
Remember, the first one to get to 7 with a 2-point advantage wins the tiebreaker. And Vilas has 2 serves, 2 points, and has a chance to run out the set. If he can win these 2 points, he wins the set.
He starts serving in the ad court.
Yeah, a little gamesmanship going on right here. Connors looking at his strings, waiting, making Vilas wait.
And now Bugs. And Vilas steps out of the batter's box.
Right, now that was not. That's something, a moth or something flew by, so Connors had to get him out of the way. Or her. I don't want to be chauvinistic.
Took a look. His return hit the top of the net and almost coiled over.
Jimmy's not arguing, so I think he must know it was good. He's shaking his head, yeah.
He looks down the line at Adrian Clark.
And it is set point for Vilas.
Wins the tiebreaker 7-4, and the third set 7-6.
Boy, I should say.
Vilas will serve the first game of set number 4.
It's going to be a little while to get this crowd settled down.
Right.
They are excited.
Vilas will back away a minute. He has changed shirts on that last court change after the tiebreaker.
Same color, just dry.
Yeah.
Topspin lob by Connors.
Love 15.
Another miss hit that came down good.
Now that's the interesting thing. Why does Connors look for a backhand up the line? When up to this point, Vilas has hit almost every backhand passing shot cross court. Whatever the reason, Connors was there, made the drop volley successfully, and it's love 30.
In some fashion, he must be able to read it. Although Vilas beat him cross court 3 or 4 times earlier. Oh, good serve.
Well, he went 5 times into the same part of the court and finally won the point.
15-30.
Connors comes out of the corner, and Vilas goes back again. He's got to put on the brakes. He throws up the lob. Now, which way do you go to cover the smash?
Would you have let it bounce?
Yes, sir, absolutely. You know, Pat, the last time we had a 5-set final here at Forest Hills was 1973 when John Newcomb defeated Jan Kodish 6-4, 1-6, 4-6, 6-2, 6-3. We might be staring at a 5-setter right here.
First game of the fourth set. Vilas is up 2-1 after having won that third set in a tiebreaker. Smoking serve from Vilas. And he holds serve. In the first game of the fourth set. No delay in that. Connors and Vilas. Is out from Connors. Sets are 2-1 Vilas, and he leads Love 1 in the fourth set.
Out. 15 all.
Look at that shot.
Looks like Cincinnati to me.
Looks more like New York to me. Although I haven't seen all of it.
But most of it.
Out.
It's also very cool this evening in New York. I would guess with that mysterious thing they call the wind chill factor, it's close to 50. And breezy all day.
Out. 40-15.
Connors 1 point away from getting even at 1 game apiece in the fourth set.
Vilas does that dance before every serve. Couldn't get there. He was holding that racket straight down when he made that volley.
We'll take a look at it again. Connors tries to roll a little ball short, soft, but he didn't get it far enough out, and Vilas just ripped the backing up the line. Now Jimmy's flat out to get to it and make a shot. Tough volleying attempt by Vilas. He got it short. Connors couldn't get there. 40-30.
That's going to be good, and so is that. Not only
So is that. What a shot.
what a shot.
Let's enjoy it. This looks like it's going to be a winner.
It is deuce.
Vilas.
Advantage, Vilas.
Good pressure by Connors.
Yes.
Here's how Vilas gets to another break point. And now Connors is doing the running. Vilas closes in and makes the good crisp volley. Back to live. Some noise disrupts Connors.
Connors says, sit down, lady.
Yes.
They used to call this a sissy sport.
Sunset now just over the city. That tallest building, of course, is the Empire State Building. And the other one with the point on top is the Chrysler Building.
This is break point for Vilas.
Good, he's got it. I'd remind you again that we're going to stay with this until its conclusion. But 60 minutes. And all of the other programs on CBS tonight will be seen in full.
And Mrs. Connors on the right and Pancho Segura on the left. Obviously concerned and worried at this point as Vilas has broken serve. He leads 2-love in the fourth set. He has a 2-set-to-1 advantage.
Another backhand winner. We now pause 5 seconds to allow our local stations to identify themselves. The sunset again over Manhattan. Over behind there's the Hudson River.
This is WREG-TV, Channel 3, Memphis.
Good return by Connors. Pat, you recall a little earlier I was saying that Vilas was making his passing shots off the backhand cross court. Connors finally started to cover them, and now the last 2 or 3 has gone up the line. $15 all.
Left.
For those of you expecting 60 minutes at 7 o'clock Eastern Time,
First service.
it'll be delayed so that we can bring you the conclusion of this match, this finals at Forest Hills, but you will see it. You'll see 60 minutes in its entirety
15.
immediately following the conclusion of this, and also all the other programs on CBS tonight. They'll all be seen in full. We'll delay just until we finish at Forest Hills.
30-15.
Left.
First serves a let. Connors won the first set 6-2. Vilas came back and won the second set 6-3. He won a third set 7-6 in a tiebreaker, winning that tiebreaker 7 points to 4. He has a 2-love lead in the fourth set and a 30-15 lead.
An ace from Vilas. That's number 6. Going into this match, neither player had lost a set in this tournament. Now Connors has lost 2, and Vilas has lost 1.
Let cord by Connors. Flips up in the air, and Vilas got his racket on it, but couldn't get it back in play.
30.
It's now 40-30. Vilas still 1 point away from taking a 3-love lead in the fourth set.
Held his serve. He has taken a 3-love lead.
Vilas. He leads 3 games to love in the fourth set. He leads 2 sets to 1. As they wait for the crowd to settle, we'll remind you that CBS will sort of slip back its regular programming tonight. There is Chrissy Everett, the women's champion, still watching. Vilas knocks off a winner. Connors might have broken a string. He's headed over to the side.
15.
CBS will present 60 Minutes in its entirety wherever you are, and the rest of the schedule as well, but it'll be seen at the regular time on the West Coast. CBS Sports will stay right here till the conclusion of this match.
And Vilas is pumped up.
15 all.
all.
What a final.
30, 15.
You know, you look around this stadium and not many people have departed.
As cold as it is. Call a fault.
That's going to be out.
30 all.
Tell you what, that left-hander right there better turn the screw right now, because if he loses this serve, he is going to be in a whole bunch of trouble.
He is, of course, the defending champion. He said at the beginning, it's my title, they got to take it. There's a guy out there trying pretty hard.
He's made it. And it is break point. Vilas runs back, and there is Chrissy Everett. That tells the story.
Pretty much tells you who she's rooting for, too, doesn't it? That guy right there. To love in the fourth set. If you're a fan of the defending champion, he's in trouble. There he is. Connors came out like thunder in the first set. He won it 6-2 and was in total control.
He sure was, and he was overpowering Vilas. Vilas was not having a chance to make decent strokes. And Vilas hung in there, and he was really on the ropes in the second set, but he finally got a break and managed to win the set, and it's turned around. But don't count Connors out.
Not yet.
Left.
You know, Pat, if this is the last match
First service
at Forest Hills for the U.S. Open, what a way to go out. Phew.
I'll say. Strong serve from Guillermo Vilas.
15.
We're now past 7 o'clock. We've been on the air since noon today. We were over 7 hours yesterday. Over 30 hours of coverage of this championship. Another powerful serve.
Again, Chris Everett. She's been there. She knows what it's like. Connors has won this championship twice. He is the defending champion, as Pat mentioned. Vilas has never been in the finals of the U.S. Open before.
You know, while we were thanking people before and saying how great it was to be a part of this coverage, I forgot to mention Jimmy Wall, our stage manager.
Oh, yeah. What a man.
Part policeman and part stage manager up here for us.
Vilas 1 point away from going up to a 5-love lead in the fourth set, and he has a 2-set-to-1 lead.
I bet for Connor's sake, it's nice not to see that first one come in. It's almost knocked the racket out of his hand.
Connors fell down, but he's okay. More importantly, Vilas.
Connors certain. Talk about being pumped up. Vilas now 3 points away from winning the U.S. Open Championship. Gloria Connors, Jimmy's mother. Connors is not going to quit.
Connors got the breaks with let cords. Now Vilas has gotten it. It is love 30.
That dancing young man right there is 2 points away from the U.S. Open Men's Singles Championship.
He'd be great at a discotheque. Pretty good at tennis, too.
Triple match point for Vilas.
And Tony Trabert, the very first night of our coverage, you picked him to win. Congratulations. That may be a little premature. Vilas had Orantes in just about this same spot 2 years ago. It is 40 love. Vilas. Love 40. Connors serving.
Let me
Triple
say this.
match point. Excuse me.
It's a privilege to have been a part of this one, Pat, working with you and everyone else connected with CBS to bring everyone this great championship. Still double match point for Vilas. Somebody in the crowd, it's just unbelievable, has to say something at this point. Let's let him play.
Two match points saved by Connors. Segura on the left. Gloria Connors on the right.
30, 40.
It is still match point for Guillermo Vilas.
And he's still jumping up and down.
Jimmy Connors has gotten to deuce.
Yes.
You can't help but think about a couple of years ago when Orantes was playing Vilas. Vilas had him 2 sets to love, 5 love. Eventually had 5 match points, and Orantes won.
Just walked back and clenched his fist. Advantage Connors.
Advantage Connors.
Talk about heart and talent and youth and all those things we were talking about before.
Really have to give them both a tremendous amount of credit. Talk about giving it everything you have.
Time. Only the second.
And I can guarantee you that that's not choking. He was trying to get that ball deep. Make it kick up. Deuce.
the fourth time, it is match point for Vilas.
Connors won the first set 6-2. Vilas came back 6-3 to even it. Then in a tiebreaker, he won. So he won the third set 7-6. The tiebreaker score was 7-4. And he leads now 5-love. What must Jimmy Connors be thinking? Tough second serve, Trabe.
Yes, sir. He gets good loop on it, though. Good safety.
Wait a minute. It's out.
Connors went back because the last thing he saw, the linesman had made no call at all. This is shades of Buenos Aires.
Vilas up on the shoulders.
When we lost the Davis Cup earlier this year in Buenos Aires, the fans came out and lifted Vilas up and marched him around the court.
It's the photographers around Vilas now. I'm looking down at the other end at Ian Tiriac, and he hasn't made a move. He's just standing up and waiting. The umpire's still in a chair. I'm not sure we're through yet. Are you, Trabe?
I am not either because the linesman on the side.
Mr. Vilas wins.
Now I'm sure.
2-6,
Now we are
6-3,
sure.
7-6, 6-love.
6-love in the fourth set. And Vilas wins. There's Jimmy Connors. He said at the beginning of the week, it is my title, they're going to have to take it. And Vilas did.
Who's yours? Who's yours? Let's go get him inside.
Let's give Jimmy Connors a great deal of credit, Pat. The guy struggled, fought. A questionable ending to the match. He has not argued at all. He's got his jacket on, and he's going off with his entourage, heading for the locker room. He was a defending champion. Great victory for Guillermo Vilas. They said he couldn't win the big one. He won the French championships earlier this year in decisive fashion. He was instrumental in beating our Davis Cup team earlier this year, and now he is the U.S. Open champion for 1977.
He said before it started, if I win this championship, maybe now they will consider me to be number one.
What a way to close out the U.S. Open at Forest Hills.
What a way to say goodbye to this stadium. Guillermo Vilas with a victory over Jimmy Connors, 3-1. Here's the shot again that closed it out. Slow it down. There was some question about this.
Hello.
That looks awfully close.
Instant replay is not really fair, but it is history. It did obviously look to us as that ball hit on the line. It would maybe not change the result, but Jimmy Connors is on his way to the locker room, and Guillermo Vilas of Argentina is the 1977 U.S. Open men's singles champion. We salute him.
As picked by Tony Trabert when this championship started. Tiriac is over close by now. There is the count. Vilas, the chant goes up, as well it should. He lost only one set on his way to this title, the U.S. Open title, and Vilas now coming over toward the presentation stand. Tremendous champion.
The final score.
And off, and he's just being called up. Jimmy Connors has gone. That is Slew Hester, the president of the USTA, up there with him. Just greeted by a chorus of boos because this is the last year here. So, Tony, you can't... the chant of Vilas has been going for about 10 minutes now since he won that championship. Connors is long gone.